ladies and gentlemen, and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I am your host, Brett Murphy, and for today's video, it is going to be another retro movie review. And we have finally reached the last stop on the Hogwarts Express with our Harry Potter rewatch series, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. So this is it. After 7 movies of build-up, we have reached the final act in Harry's story. And I can only imagine how big the pressure must have been on director David Yates and the cast that have been committed to these roles for a decade. So do they manage to satisfy even the most die-hard of fans with this final entry? Of course, we're gonna find out. Before I hop into the actual review itself, I just wanted to let you all know that I have an entire playlist dedicated to all of my retro movie reviews. So be sure to check that out, and I guarantee you'll find something you like. And so, without further ado, let's hop right into things. So, right out of the gate, you have that haunting but beautiful shot of all of the Dementors outside of Hogwarts, which then transitions to show what Hogwarts has become under Snape as the headmaster. I also love how this movie picks up right where the previous one left off. There's no need for any recap, or any sort of filler or anything. It just puts you right back into the mix of things. The entire sequence at Gringotts is wonderful. It hits all of the right notes that we've come to expect from a Potter film. Starting with Hermione's disguise as Bellatrix, Griphook's betrayal, the thrilling dragon escape, and then Voldemort's bloody massacre at the end. Aberforth Dumbledore is only in the film for a brief period of time, but I love his inclusion. And Kieran Hines fits into the role perfectly, and I honestly wish we got a lot more of him than we did. I've always loved how celebrated Harry's return to Hogwarts is, which of course is then followed up by the powerful scene where he confronts Snape in front of the entire school about him killing Dumbledore, which of course is then followed up by the very eerie scene with the girls screaming and Voldemort's voice echoing throughout the Great Hall. I also wanted to give an extra special shout out to Dame Maggie Smith, who battled breast cancer during the filming of The Half-Blood Prince, beat it, came back to play the role in these final 2 movies in her mid-70s. And McGonagall is a total badass in this one, first by fending off Snape and then helping to prepare the school for war. The entire build-up to the final battle is excellent. Harry with Helena Ravenclaw, Ron and Hermione in the Chamber of Secrets, and then sharing their first kiss, and then seeing all of the characters that we've come to know and love throughout this entire series preparing the castle for battle. And then obviously that is then followed up by the beginning of the assault on Hogwarts, which just feels so grand and epic. You have the trolls battling the stone soldiers on the bridge, the destruction of the courtyard, and then the Death Eaters breaking into the castle. The Room of Requirement sequence is another standout portion. It starts off with Draco still showing that there is much conflict within him. Then you have the giant fire animals destroying the broom, and then our trio of heroes ending up on their flying broomsticks, and Harry goes back to save Draco despite all that they've been through. Seeing the Battle of Hogwarts unfold around our heroes as they make their way through the battle is so awesome and scary. It is miraculously well shot and honestly kind of awe-inspiring that we are finally here. We've actually reached this point in the series, like this is the final conflict. It's here and this is it. Snape's death is probably the hardest moment to watch in the entire series. It is dark, disturbing, and honestly kind of brutal for a PG-13 film, and then it doesn't get any easier after that because we discover all of those who died in the initial battle. And it is truly soul-crushing, especially when it comes to Fred, Lupin, and Tonks. The entire flashback sequence revealing Snape's story is probably the best bit of the entire franchise. It really does get me each and every time, and although I don't really like the way it's shot, the image just feels so flat and weird and kind of distorted. Just some weird creative choices that I didn't really vibe with, but it doesn't take away from all that is revealed because it's all a work of art. There are also some other really strong emotional beats in here as well, like Harry talking to his parents, Sirius and Lupin before going off to die. And then Harry's afterlife talk with Dumbledore. Now, I don't really love the effects in this portion. The green screen effects for the kind of heavenly train station are just, feel really cheap, but it doesn't change the fact that this is a very powerful portion of the movie. I've also always found that this movie boasts a lot more visual storytelling than any other in the series. Director David Yates often lets the visuals and the score, which is marvelous by the way, do all of the talking, and sometimes it's just the visuals alone. And in that, it has moments that will forever stick with me, like Hagrid walking with Harry's dead body across the bridge, mirroring when Hagrid dropped him off at Privet Drive as a baby after his parents were murdered. I've also always appreciated how Neville gets an extra bit of spotlight in this one, like his speech in front of everyone with the backdrop of the destroyed Hogwarts, him killing Nagini, and then something that was not in the book, which is with him and Luna ending up together. Another extra special shout out as well for Molly Weasley killing Bellatrix Lestrange. It is such a kick-ass moment that always has me cheering. Her delivery of the line, "Not my daughter, you bitch," always fires me up. It is so damn good. And then from there, the whole final portion of the movie is just one giant positive. Harry and Voldemort's final duel, which of course results in Voldemort's death once and for all, Harry making the decision to destroy the Elder Wand, and then of course you have the 19-year flash forward, with the closing shot on our trio of heroes with the enchanting theme one last time to close out this iconic franchise. Yeah, I'm just gonna come out and say it. This is indeed the perfect finale to one of the most consistent, beloved, and iconic franchises in film history. It deserves all of the praise that it gets. I adore it top to bottom and don't have a single negative with it. But of course, as I always say, just because I don't have any negatives with the movie doesn't mean it automatically gets to be a 10 out of 10. For a movie to be a 10 out of 10 for me, you have to feel it. And although I love everything about this movie, I think it is flawless because, like I said, I have no flaws with it. Like The Prisoner of Azkaban, it doesn't quite reach that 10 out of 10 coveted status, but it does come pretty damn close. And therefore, I'm going to be giving Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 a 9.5 out of 10. So that is all for today's video, folks. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with my review of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. While you're at it, feel free to let me know what you would score the movie out of 10 and what your favorite moment from it was. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to see more content, consider subscribing to my channel and ringing that little bell icon. That way you can be notified about all of my latest uploads. And as always, stay safe. Thank you so much for watching. And that's a wrap. Hey you, yeah you, if you made it this far, just know I appreciate you, and while you're here, consider hitting that subscribe button.